The story of Joseph. Down to mine. His brothers became angry. Do you think you will rule over us one day? They asked. Later, Joseph had another dream. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to me. Even his father wondered about the meaning of the dream. The more Joseph shared his dreams, the more his brothers hated him, betrayed by his brothers. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending sheep far away. As Joseph approached, his brothers saw him from a distance. "Here comes the dreamer," they mocked. Consumed by jealousy, they planned to kill him. But one brother, Reuben, convinced them not to shed blood. Instead, they threw Joseph into a deep, empty pit. Imagine Joseph crying out for help as his own brothers abandoned him. Soon a caravan of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. The brothers sold Joseph as a slave for 20 pieces of silver. Then they dipped Joseph's colorful being released, the man forgot Joseph. For 2 more years, Joseph remained in prison. Yet God had not forgotten him. Pharaoh's troubling dream. One night, Pharaoh had mysterious dreams that none of his advisors could explain. Suddenly, the servant remembered Joseph. There's a man in prison who can interpret dreams. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh. Pharaoh explained the dreams. In one dream, 7 healthy cows were eaten by 7 thin cows. In another dream, 7 healthy heads of grain were swallowed by 7 withered heads. God revealed the meaning to Joseph. There will be 7 years of abundance throughout Egypt, Joseph explained. Then 7 years of severe famine will follow. Joseph advised Pharaoh to store food during the years of abundance. Pharaoh was amazed. Seeing God's wisdom in Joseph, he appointed him governor over all Egypt. children filled the land. The family God had promised to bless continued increasing. Joseph enjoyed seeing future generations playing around him. Every child reminded him that God's promises never fail. The same boy who once sat alone in a dark pit now sat surrounded by a thriving family. God had restored everything. Looking back on his journey, as Joseph grew old, he often reflected on his life. He remembered the colorful coat. He remembered the betrayal. He remembered the slave traders. He remembered the prison. He remembered the palace. Through every chapter, one truth remained constant. God had been with him. There were many moments when Joseph could not understand what God was doing. But looking back, he could see how every trial had prepared him for his purpose. The pit led to Egypt. Egypt led to prison. Prison led to Pharaoh. Pharaoh led to the Israelites suffered greatly. Yet God remembered his covenant. He raised up Moses to deliver his people. After the great deliverance from Egypt, Moses carried Joseph's bones exactly as Joseph had requested. Years later, Joseph's remains were finally buried in the Promised Land. Even after his death, God's promise to Joseph was fulfilled. The greatest lesson from Joseph's life, Joseph's story, is not really about a coat, a prison, or even a palace. It is a story about trusting God when life makes no sense. Joseph teaches us that betrayal does not cancel God's purpose. Delays do not cancel God's promises. Suffering does not mean God has abandoned you. Forgiveness is stronger than revenge. God's plan is greater than human plans. Joseph began his journey as a rejected son. He became a slave, then a prisoner, then a ruler. Finally, he became a man remembered for faith, wisdom, and forgiveness. And through every chapter of his life, God was writing a story far greater than Joseph could see. The end, but also the beginning of Israel's journey toward the Promised Land. Key verse: the Lord was with Joseph. Genesis 39:2. This simple truth explains Joseph's entire life. God was with him in the pit, in the prison, in the palace, and all the way to the fulfillment of God's